Don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video.
Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So a while ago, around about September time-ish, somebody gave me a present. And it wasn't the present that I'm showing you now, it was actually the bag that the present was in was covered with these fantastic what are called kokeshi dolls or kokeshi dolls, and I just think these are absolutely adorable, but not big enough really to do anything with. I can't use them for ATCs or anything because they're just too big. They're just about, well, a couple of them are about 3 to 4 inches, so not big enough or too big to fit on an ATC. So not wanting to throw them away, I actually cut this panel because it was just a repeating pattern of these 3 little characters, but not wanting to get rid of them. I wanted to keep them because I knew I wanted to do something with them, but they're a bit too small or a bit too big. So what I ended up doing was scanning this and then creating 3 bigger versions. So that was the original one. There you go, see? So these are about 6 inches in height. But obviously this is somebody else's artwork. So I can only use these for my own personal work. I can't use these to sell, which is fine. Don't have a problem with that. But looking at them, I also thought to myself, well, I like this dress, but I like that hair. So, you know, I'd like to have a set where I can mix and match. So it would be nice if I actually just had the hair and maybe the bodies and then the sleeves that I can interchange. You know, so I thought, well, they're only kind of geometric shapes. So why don't I just create my own set? Which is exactly what I've done. So there we go. So I've created a set of 3. If I can just open them up, there we go. And I've named these ones. So this one's Akari, this one's Hinata, and this one's Nico. Now if I remember rightly, the names actually mean something. This one, Nico, means 2 lakes. Hinata, I think, means sunflower. And Akari means red plum or something like that. Anyway, I just like the names. So yeah, so I created my own 3 set, and these obviously are again about 6 inches in height, but because they're digital, when I print them I can tell it to print at like 40% or 50%, so I can make them 3 inches, I can make them whatever size I want to, within reason. We can't just go blowing them up to huge like house size. But this one, Hinata, is 6 inches from top to bottom, so from the top of her hair right the way down to the bottom of her kimono, and then right up to the top of her bun, again just under 6 inches. Again, just over 5, so perfect sizes. So, and obviously I've made these available to you as well. These will get used, but just not at the moment. Waste not, want not. So yeah, I'm going to create an art journal page today using these 3 fabulous characters, Akari, Hinata and Nico. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these 3 out. Like I said, you've got all the bits to build your own, so you can mix and match the kimonos, the hairs, the sleeves. You've even got little hands, look, that you can pop in there and do what you want. But the other thing, of course, is you could actually cut these out and use them as templates. So if you wanted to use this as a template to cut out from a piece of pattern paper that you've got, you can create your own kimonos, your own sleeves, and customize them at will. But for the time being, I'm just going to cut my 3 little maids out. Oh, the other thing, of course, is I've deliberately not put any eyes in on these. Not because it's creepy, but because the original eyes are like that, but sometimes you want them open, sometimes you might want them closed. The option's there for you to draw your own in. It's entirely up to you, or not, as the case may be. And you can position them, because I know some people like to put their eyes further out or further in or whatever. It's entirely up to you where you want to put their eyes. So I'm going to cut my 3 little characters out, and then once I've done that, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've cut my 3 little dolls out, just as the main composite. Like I said before, you can use those pieces as a template if you want to use different papers. Absolutely perfect. So they're just the right size for the composition that I want on my page here. So I'm going to now start working on the background. So I've put my little dolls to one side, and I've got some kind of Chinesey colours, or Chinesey, Japanesey kind of colours, I think. I've got like a cherry red, I've got a coral colour, and I've got a nice kind of, well, this is called teal mint, but to me it's kind of like a jade colour. So that's what I'm going to use for the background for my art journal page. So I'm going to just shake up the teal mint to start off with. These are Americana or Deco Art paints. So I'm going to put a fair-sized drop there, grab a paintbrush. Now I'm not gessoing on the page to start off with, because I'm not particularly bothered about it soaking straight into the page. So I'm going to go pretty much all over. And I'm going to do side to side paint motions to start off with. So backwards and forwards, let the paint soak in. I'm going to need a fair bit more of the paint. So the cardstock that I'm using for my page is watercolour cardstock. It's 300 GSM, or it says £140 on the cover, if you're interested. So left to right. And then I'm going to turn it and then work that way. I don't want to cover the entire page, but I do want to catch just the top. So I'm dry brush, I'm not adding any water at all. So I'm catching the top of the texture of the paper. And you see how it's going kind of like mottly and blotchy. That's fine. Okay, so I'll drop that straight into water, get this dried off as my base layer, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I've just taped my background down to my craft mat, just with a little bit of stencil tape, just to stop it from moving a bit. And I've brought out my Daisy stencil, because I like it and I want to use this on the background. So I'm just going to grab a quick sponge. The next colour I'm going to use is the coral colour. So I'm going to add some of that onto my mat. And then just load up the sponge, and then I'm just going to go through. I'm not going to press real heavy. Love this colour combo. Pick up a little bit more. And then just go around for once I'm actually going to use probably the whole of the stencil, which I don't normally do, but I want an all over kind of background pattern. Pick up a little bit more paint when it starts to feel as though it's running out. A little bit more. Because it will dry darker because it's on a darker background, but that's okay. So we've got a nice kind of daisy pattern going on there. So what we can do now is just line up the stencil where we left off on that last pattern, and then just carry on. So like I said, I want to go all over my background with this pattern. So I'm just going to carry on with this because I've got the bottom part to do as well, and all I have to do is just to line up the stencil at the bottom like so, and then I can just carry on with that pattern. So I'll finish this off and then I'll join with you when I'm done. Okay, so I've gone over the whole of my background now, so I just need to get that dried off, and then once that's all dry I'll be back. Okay, so next I'm going to bring in that final colour, which was the cherry red. I'm going to put a little line down there. You'll see why in a minute. So I've stuck just the corners down there because I want it to be particularly flat. So I've brought a pencil because I'm going to use the rubber end. This is the reason why I've done it flat. So I'm just going to grab some paint on the end, and I'm just going to go around adding in some little red dots. Not necessarily going to do every one. I might do every other one, I don't know. Haven't decided. No, I'm not going to do every other one. I'm just going to randomly do it. I mean, some of these will get covered up anyway, so. Don't really matter. I'll know they're there, and that's important. Actually, because it's so easy, I think I am going to just go around and do every single one. That, and I've put the paint out for it anyway. But I might just do first and second. By first and second I mean first and second generation stamping. So I've stamped twice. That way you get a bit of a variation. And I'm not bothered about getting an exact circle. I missed one. Probably up there, but I don't really care about that. Or I'm not particularly bothered, I should say. I think that's just about going to be it. A few more down at the bottom. Peel that off. Don't think I've... There you go. Maybe that one will put the top there. That means we've definitely got them all then. Okay. Just wipe off that paint off my eraser. And then we'll get that dry. And then I'll be back. Okay, so my little cherry dots are now completely dry. I just love the colour of this background. It's a great, really nice background. I'm having lots of fun creating this one. So next up, I want some white gesso or some white acrylic paint will work just as well for this next bit. And I'm just going to grab some of that white gesso, stick it down there, and yes, you guessed it, because I've got a kind of scrubbed background, there's white showing through. I just want to continue that theme, so I'm going to add some breakup in the foreground. So we've got some in the background, so I'm adding some in the background, in the foreground as well. That will help just to push that pattern into the background a little bit. I don't want it to be too in your face, if you know what I mean. That's it, plenty of white, tiny dots. I've got some big ones, but I want a fair bit of the small white ones. That should do me. There's a fair bit of clean up to do now. And obviously, like I've said before, art journaling is around about 10% art, 90% dry time. Okay, so my white splatters are now completely dry, so it's time to start sticking down my my little characters. So I'm going to grab my glue and just put some glue just around the back. Okay, so that one can go about there. And then I'm going to stick Nico just down there. Okay, so I'm just going to try and see if I can line up the bottoms. I think that's pretty much it. Yep, that will do about there. Just to give that a little bit of a squidge down. Just quickly go over it with my braid just to make sure that the glue has spread underneath. And then finally, Hinata. then she's going to go in the middle. And I'm just going to drop her down a little bit and just overlap slightly, not too much. Probably about there. Again, just gently roll it down. There. It's my little characters stuck down. So while they're just holding themselves, I'm just going to holding themselves. I've printed off on the computer, I don't know what I'm talking about today. I've printed off on the computer my little phrase for the page, which obviously is 3 little maids, and all I'm going to do is just add a little bit of colour around those, just to kind of darken the edges a little bit. I really could do with a clean foam. Okay. Bring the page back in, and then just using my glue, let's put a little bit of glue on the back, and then I'm just going to put one of the words under each of the characters. Leaving a little bit of a gap. That's about right. Okay, there's the lid for my glue gun. There it is. So again, just need to leave that for a second or two, just to grab and drag. You can see there's still a little bit of wiggle room on it, but not much. Okay, back in a mo. Right, so they've had about 10-15 minutes or so to dry. So what I want to do now is I just want to darken the edge, just give my page a bit of a frame. So I'm just going to use Distress ink, and I'm just going to go around the edge, just adding in a little bit, just to kind of darken the page up and give it a little bit of a frame. Sometimes it's just the finishing touches like this that kind of just bring the page together. Just to kind of bring that all together. And then the last thing that I need to do, before I do that, I just want to clear that up. Here we go. So the last thing that I want to do is just to add in some little eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my pencil to start off with, just to kind of mark in where I want the eyes to go. I think that is just about right. I think that's just about right for all three. So what I'm going to do is, now I've marked them in with pencil, I'm just going to grab my Tim Holtz Distress marker in black soot, and I'm going to use the fine nib, and I'm just going to draw in the little eyes. And then of course, if you want to, you can just add in a couple of little eyelashes. But that'll do for me. I like those. So that's it for that page, I think. All I need to do now is just to sign it and date it. So today is the 3rd of December. No, wrong nib. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this little art journal page come together and you like those Kokishi dolls. Remember, you can use them as templates, so you could use your own papers in the background and just have a play with them. Kokishi paper dolls, there we go. So that's all from me. I hope you have enjoyed this. Like I said, if you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.
I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.